Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy D1 bringing you yet another YouTube video this time. So basically I got a deck profile for you guys. Obviously Rikka's got new support coming out of the Power of the Element set. Also interestingly enough, Rikka's managed to top a regional, which is pretty good. Congrats to, that player who managed to top Rikka. Definitely some good stuff there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the deck profile. Of course, as always, we're going to start off with the monsters. Alright. First we have one Rikka Helioport. Now this card has two effects. It protects your Rikkas from monster targeting effects, and while in graveyard, it can tribute a plant monster to special summon itself from the graveyard. So of course, you guys already know the field spell gives the ability to tribute off your opponent's monsters, so this also has the ability to tribute your opponent's monsters to special summon itself from the graveyard. There's a pretty random interaction with this card and Necker Rally, because I found out too that it actually tributes as cost, so I was able to tribute off one of the opponent's monsters, and this card never left the graveyard since it was a cost to activate the effect. So a little interesting interaction there, but overall the card is not really, it's not really necessary. You don't really have to play it. Only as a target for Rikka Glamour when you want to, do your rank 8 plays. Next we have two Mudons. Now this card special summons itself from the hand by attributing a plant type monster. And when it's special summoned by a plant monster's effect, you can add a Rikka Speller Trap from your deck to your hand. Also, with this effect you can tribute off your opponent's monsters to special summon this card as well. Really solid and really necessary for the deck. Next we have two Primulas, and this is 1 year level 4 options. When a monster is tributed while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card. That also happens while you activate Rikka Glamour, tribute in 1 year monsters to search this and another level 4 monster, as this was in the hand during the time of the tributing, so it counts as being tributed while this card is in your hand, so it instantly special summons itself, for a level 4 option. Oh, also you can target 2 plants with this effect and increase their levels by 2 until the end phase of the turn. Next we have two Rikka Ericas. Now this is sort of your honest for your plants while they're battling. So when your plant monsters are battling, you can send this card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, tribute it to to increase the plant monster's attack by 1,000. Excuse me. And when a plant is tributed while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card from the graveyard but banish it when it leaves the field. So has some pretty decent implications there. It serves 2 functions for the deck. Three Rikka Petals. Now this one's probably one of the most important cards in the deck, as while this card's on the field, you can activate this effect to search a Rikka monster from your deck to your hand. And while this card is in the graveyard during the end phase, if you control only plant monsters, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So it's recursion and searching all at the same time. So this card is definitely a solid card and very integral to the deck. This is a Rikka Snowdrop. This card has 2 effects as well. You can tribute a plant to special summon this card and another plant monster from your hand. And while this card is on the field, you can activate this effect. You can target a plant with a level of cost. You can increase. Every plant on the field becomes the level of the plant monster you selected by this card effect. So it sets off a variety of different XYZ plays, including targeting itself for rank 8 plays. We have 3 Rikka Princesses. Now this is one of the 2 new cards that came out in this set, of course. This one is a level 4 Rikka Princess. This one during the main phase, it can just special summon itself to the field, essentially a free body on board. And while it's in the hand or in the graveyard, you can shuffle this card back into the deck and tribute a plant to negate a monster effect. So, card really solid. Of course, with the field spell, you can tribute off your opponent's monsters to negate a monster effect as well. So this card is really simple. So this is level 9 Mardell, the generator boss. This is a plant, level 9 plant that when special summoned, you can add a plant monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only, you can only control one of her. So, if you special summon her off of Snow Princess's effect, you can target her, make both monsters level 9, and you can summon the Mythical Beast Hyperion from your extra deck the legit way. Next, Pretty Little Fire Blossoms, of course, pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have some handy tech, Roll Torture. Now, if you control a plant, you can send this card. If you control a plant and your opponent activates a trap, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation and destroy that card. So, some handy little tech when you're, pushing for game and your opponent's activating traps, or when you're setting up plays and you get hit by a skill drain or something like that. So, yeah. Of course, hand drops, 2 Veilers, and 2 Ash for your hand drops. Alright, so that is it for the monsters. We're going to go into the spells. First we have 3 Rikka Conclaves. Now this is the defeat spell that I was alluding to in my talking of the monsters. So basically, this one says that if you were to tribute a plant to activate a Rikka monster's effect, you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters instead. And once per turn, that's also once per turn, that effect. And also once per turn, while you control a Rikka monster, you can set 1 Rikka spell or trap directly from your deck, which obviously gets around Ash since it doesn't search out the color. So yeah, this card is definitely integral. You want to see this card as soon as possible. Preferably turn 2 and and beyond, so you can start tributing off your monsters. Next we have 3 Rikka Glamours. So this is essentially your searcher for the deck, of course. So you can add 1 Rikka monster from your deck to your hand. And if you tributed a monster to activate this card, you can add 2 Rikka monsters instead. 1 level. Well, when you do that, the second monster has to be the same Rikka that you same level, but a different name as the Rikka you searched. So if you do Rikka Princess, you have to search, Primilla or Cyclone. You can't add 2 of the same name. So of course, with the field spell, you can tribute off your opponent's monsters to activate this effect to get you a double search as well. Next, we have 2 Rikka Flurries. Now, to be honest, this is honestly the card that made me want to play Rikkas in the first place, because it's kind of trolly being able to, make your opponent tribute their monsters when you tribute your monsters and stuff like that. So basically what this does is when you tribute your monsters, the opponent has to tribute one of their monsters, and during the end phase, if you have a non-plant on the field, you can destroy this card. Alright, so we have Staples, Twin Twisters, Clawbite of the Grave, Raigeki, and Harpy's Fabulosa for your staples. Alrighty, so that is it for your spells. Lastly, we're going to go into the traps. First we have 2 Rikka sheets. Now this is a very, very good piece of disruption with the field spell on the field, as this says that you can tribute, one of your monsters to take control of one of your opponent's monsters. But if the field spell is on the field, you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters to take control of the other monster that they may have in the field. So you're essentially taking 2 monsters out of play and stopping, what your opponent was trying to do with those 2 monsters in the field, which could effectively end their turn. So this card is definitely solid. Definitely a solid card indeed. Next we have Rikka Tranquility. This one special summons a plant from your graveyard, but if you tribute a monster, you can special summon 2 plants instead. As always with the field spell, you can tribute your opponent's monsters to special summon 2 plants instead. So this can definitely be another effective piece of disruption while giving you broad presence in the field. Lastly, use some strikes for your staple tracks. Alright, so that is it for the deck. We're going to go into the action. First we have for your links to Renaissance for Jasmine. Now this card is, is actually pretty solid, as it says when your life points are higher than your opponent's, this card and all plants this card control, or all monsters this card points to, cannot be destroyed by battle. And you can tribute one monster to special summon a plant from your deck in defense position. Also, as last effect, even though we're not going to use it in this deck, is when your life points increase, you can add 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand. So this is pretty good to set up plays and to be able to push the game should the situation arise. So now we have Sylvan Dance. Sylvan Dance Peony. Weird name. Now this card is actually pretty solid as well, as you can excavate. You can declare a number from 1 to 3. You can excavate that many cards, and any plants among them you can special summon them to the field and defense position. And its second effect reads that you can target a plant in your graveyard that has a level. All monsters in your field become that monster's level until the end phase of the turn, which obviously sets up for more Exceed play as well. So this card is really good for board presence and setting up Exceed play. Alright, so that is for the links. First Exceed is Rikka Queen Shredding. This one detaches material to add a Rikka card that includes spell, trap, or monster from your graveyard to your hand. And if this card is attributed while it has material, you can special summon 1 plant Exceed monster from your extra deck and detach this card, to it as material. So that's actually pretty good. You can target a variety of Exceed monsters that this deck has, and set up materials so that you can use the effect. So this card is actually pretty good. Now this is Rikka Kazashi, the Rikka Queen. Now this one essentially protects your zombies, like when a zombie is not a zombie. Thinking about zombies. Come on. So when a plant is targeted, for destruction, either by battle or card effect, you can, attribute a plant monster from your hand or face up from the field instead. And when a plant monster is distributed, you can detach the material to special summon a plant from your graveyard. So, it has some protection there to be able to, essentially is a defensive card for when your opponent is making the plays and they're threatening your field. Next we have Teardrop, the Rikka Queen. And this one is essentially the boss monster of the deck. As when you have plants as material for this card, it becomes a quick effect that you're able to tribute your opponent's monsters. And when a monster is tributed, this card can gain 200 attack until the end phase of the turn. So having that form of disruption and making itself stronger is actually pretty solid. Next we have one copy of Sacred Tree Beast, Hyperion. Now this is good for negation, of course, as depending on what materials you may have, if you activate effect, whether it's a monster spell or trap, you can add that spell trap or monster to this, card as material, and you could attach, whatever card type to negate that specific card type, like attach a trap to negate a trap, spell, negate a trap, spell, and monsters to negate a monster. So, it's actually pretty decent there, but you're mostly using it for monster effects. This is Araya. So this card detects the material, excavate that many cards, declare number from 1 to 3, excavate that many cards, and the plant monsters you're excavating with this effect allows you to send that many cards from the field back to hand. So could clear out threats to set up with TK plays. This is Outside, the Silver Protector. Now this one sends Outside detects the material to declare a card type. You excavate that top card from your deck, and if it's of the declared name, you can add that to your hand. If not, it sends it to the graveyard, and you can target a monster, target a card your opponent controls, and either place it on the top or the bottom of the deck. So this is also, good for removing threats to, push for damage and stuff like that. So yeah, this card's pretty good. And lastly, we have one black ship of coin for your staple. Cool. Alright, so that is it for the deck. Of course, guys, let me know what you guys think of Rikka's in the comments. It's actually a pretty solid deck. Of course, I've been talking about this deck for quite some time. I've been thoroughly enjoying this deck. So, hey guys, hope you guys once again enjoyed, and I will leave that at that. So I'll be bringing you guys more videos in the meantime. But until then, pieces. YouTube.